Welcome back to the Chattable podcast, where we learn real English in real life, enrich vocabulary, and feel proud. We have a really fascinating episode for you today. We're going to be looking at an incredible text called April 12, 180 and all over the map.
Yeah, it's a really great one.
It totally is. So the mission for this episode is to quickly examine a pair of really powerful English idioms from that text.
Right. And what's so cool here is that both of these phrases actually use physical concepts.
Yeah, exactly. One is from geometry and the other is basically from geography. And we use them to describe sudden changes and just generally chaotic situations.
Oh, absolutely. Like in business, in politics, or, well, just your everyday life.
Right. So let's just jump straight into the first one, which is the geometry side of things. The phrase is doing a 180. And to ground this in the real world, the test gives this wild target sentence. It says, just a little over a year after previewing text-to-video creator Sora, OpenAI did a 180 by announcing the termination of the much-hyped video generator.
Which was, that was massive news in the tech world.
Huge. But to really grasp the phrase, we have to look at the literal geometric root of it.
Right, the math part. So if you think about a full circle, that's 360 degrees, right?
Yeah.
So turning 180 degrees means you are cutting that circle in half.
Yeah.
You're facing the exact opposite direction.
Like perfectly backwards from where you started.
Exactly. So metaphorically, that translates to this massive change of mind. It's a sudden dramatic reversal of an opinion or a strategy or a policy.
Okay, let's unpack this because it's such a perfect phrase for everyday stuff too. Think of that friend who goes to see a new movie.
Oh yeah, we all have that friend.
Right. They walk out of the theater and they absolutely hate it. They're complaining about the acting, the lighting, just despising it.
But then they watch a 3-hour YouTube video about it.
Yes. They watch an essay on it, text you the next morning, and suddenly they're claiming it's their favorite movie of the year.
They completely flipped.
Exactly. They didn't just tweak their opinion, they did a 180. And we see this in business constantly. The text brings up the perfect example with Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, the metaverse pivot.
Right. He insisted the metaverse was the absolute future of Meta. He poured, tens of billions into it.
He literally changed the name of the entire company for it.
He did. But then, ChatGPT launched, and he basically did a massive 180.
Yeah, he shifted the public focus almost entirely away from VR and straight into AI.
Which is just a staggering reversal of priority. But wait, before we move on, we have to issue a crucial warning here.
Oh, yes. The 360 trap.
I hear this all the time. People will confidently be like, oh, wow, he completely changed his opinion. He did a total 360.
It's honestly probably the most common math mistake people make when they're speaking.
Because 360 sounds bigger, right? It sounds more complete.
Exactly. People associate the number 360 with totality. So they think a 360 means a complete change of mind. But if you think about the geometry...
You just spin in a circle.
Right. If you do a 360-degree turn, you end up facing the exact same direction you started, meaning nothing actually changed.
So if a CEO does a 360, they just do a little twirl and keep making the same terrible decisions.
Pretty much, yeah. So the rule is, 180 is the reversal, 360 is ending up right back where you started.
That makes total sense. So we just looked at what to say when someone makes this precise, exact reversal of their stance, using geometry.
The straight line.
Right. But how do you describe a situation where there is no clear reversal? There's just a total lack of direction altogether.
That's where things get messy.
Very messy. We're moving from the clean geometry of a straight line to the complete geography of total chaos.
I love that transition.
Thanks.
All right.
And that brings us to our second idiom for this episode, which is all over the map.
It's such a great visual phrase.
It really is. And our source has this great target sentence to illustrate it regarding some recent negotiations with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Right, which is an incredibly tense, high-stakes situation.
Definitely. And just to be clear to you listening, we are keeping this strictly impartial. We're neutral here. We're just presenting this purely as a vocabulary example.
Absolutely. Just focusing on the language.
So the quote analyzing the situation says, the president is all over the map with inconsistent statements and even social media rants every hour. And I'm just going to quickly, playfully mention here, I'm mentally autocorrecting a typo in the original text.
Oh, the typo.
Yeah, it said even social media rants, but obviously they mean even. But anyway, the communication strategy was just totally erratic.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the literal origin of the phrase.
Yeah.
Ask yourself to visualize an actual map.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Imagine you're planning a road trip from New York to Chicago. Normally, you draw a somewhat logical straight line west, right?
Right, maybe a slight curve, but generally one direction.
But instead of doing that,
Yeah.
imagine you just take a marker and draw a random dot down in Florida.
Okay.
And then another dot way up in Canada.
Right.
And then you draw a line to California.
That's not a road trip, that's just a mess.
Exactly. Metaphorically, we use this to describe wildly disorganized thoughts or arguments or strategies that just jump from one extreme to another without any logical connection.
So there's no connective tissue at all.
Right. And you see this everywhere. The text actually gives a fantastic business example of this with Elon Musk taking over Twitter.
Oh man, the blue checkmark era.
Yeah. I mean, talk about being all over the map.
Yeah.
Advertisers need predictability, but his daily policy changes were just leaving them totally confused.
Oh, totally. One day, anyone can buy a verification badge. The next day, major accounts are banned, then unbanned. The rules were just fluctuating by the hour.
And if you're an advertiser, you can't draw a straight line through that strategy. It's just dots in Florida and Canada.
Right, it's completely erratic. But wait, let me push back on this geographical metaphor for a second.
Okay, let's hear it.
What if someone is literally traveling everywhere successfully?
What do you mean?
Well, the text brings the Taylor Swift. She goes on this highly successful, incredibly well-planned global stadium tour, right?
The Eras Tour, yeah.
Yeah. She is physically jumping from continent to continent. She's literally everywhere on the globe. Can we use it then? Can I say her tour was all over the map?
That's a really logical question, but the answer is a firm no.
Wait, really? Not even as a joke?
Nope. You should really avoid using this phrase to describe literal travel, because the idiom almost exclusively carries a negative connotation constraint.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Even though she's geographically traveling, saying she's all over the map implies she's mentally disorganized or lacking focus or just missing a cohesive strategy.
And obviously her tour was deeply strategic.
Exactly. It doesn't mean well-traveled. It means chaotic.
That is such a crucial distinction for anyone learning the nuances of this phrase. It's not about the distance you cover. It's about the lack of logic.
Right. It's a criticism of the planning, not the location.
Well, to sort of quickly summarize our journey in this episode today, we started with doing a 180, which is that precise geometric reversal of an opinion or strategy.
Clean and exact.
Right. And then we contrasted that with being all over the map, which leaves geometry behind for just total geographic chaos and lack of direction.
Mastering these two phrases, honestly, it just allows you to clearly articulate such complex shifts in corporate pivots or political chaos or, just personal relationships.
Yeah, it definitely enriches your vocabulary and really helps you sound highly fluent when you speak.
And before we wrap up, I actually want to leave the listener with a final thought to mull over.
Oh, please do.
Consider just how much of our everyday language about abstract human psychology, like changing our minds or shifting strategies or feeling confused, how much of that relies entirely on physical metaphors of space, distance, and movement.
Wow, yeah, because we can't actually see a thought.
Exactly. So we have to use the physical world to describe what's happening in our invisible minds.
Like moving forward or being stuck in a rut.
Right. So I'd invite you listening to start noticing how many other invisible spatial idioms you use in your daily life without even realizing it.
That is a fascinating thing to think about. The language of the mind is really just geometry and geography.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you next time.